Have you ever watched a video online and said, man, that would be a great soundtrack to my life? Well, you're in luck. Since you are a Wedding Bossness listener, our friends from MusicBit are hooking you up with a free month of subscription. If you've seen ads on TV recently, then you probably have heard music from them. That is the caliber of music that you're getting from MusicBit. High quality, Hollywood level audio tracks. It's a highly curated roster featuring hundreds of artists, bands, and composers. Just like what I said earlier, as a Wedding Bossness listener, you can get your first month of subscription free or 20% off of a single song purchase. Just enter the promo code Wedding Bossness when you check out, or just click on the link in the show notes. Hey Rachel, thanks for being on the show.
Hi. Oh, thanks for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
We were talking earlier about this whole I feel like I've known you forever because we when I started finding out what Love Stories TV is and what it was all about. I feel like I've seen the entire company grow, and I'm so proud of what you've done.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, you've really been around, you are one of our OGs, so it's like fun to like connect and finally like be talking to each other on video, which is close to real life.
It's pretty close.
And yeah, I'm so happy. Congratulations on the podcast, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Thank you. So, okay, before we start, I wanted to ask you. Sorry, I didn't brief you about this, but I wanted to ask
No,
you
no,
if you
anything.
could tell me something about yourself that people probably don't know about you.
Let's see, what's something people don't know about me? Well, I'm pregnant right now. I'm having a baby in a couple weeks. July 12th is my due date, so I don't know if people know that. And another thing people don't know about me, which is sort of relevant to love stories, is I met my husband in kindergarten when I was 5.
My gosh, wow! That congratulations on both situations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
That's so crazy. You pretty much beat my record because I met my wife when we were 15. So
Oh, wow.
kindergarten's like, wow,
How
that's
did you
crazy.
meet?
So
In school?
we met in school in junior
Uh-huh.
high because
Aw.
I repeated a year because I didn't want to go to school. But so that's when we met, and then
Aw.
well, we
See, it
didn't
was
get into
worth
a
it.
I know. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. It's so crazy.
Isn't that funny?
That's so cool. So now that's out of the way, I want to ask you. Um, I guess just tell the listeners and the viewers what got you into this industry and what you're up to right now.
Yeah, so I'm Rachel. As I introduced myself, I am the founder of Love Stories TV. And Love Stories TV is the first and only video platform for wedding ideas and inspiration. So the way that Love Stories TV works, if you're not familiar, is that wedding filmmakers and newlywed couples from all over the world upload their professionally produced real wedding videos along with all of the details about the wedding. So people who are planning their wedding can come to lovestoriestv.com as well as our social channels and watch videos according to anything they might be looking for. So if they already know their venue, they could watch videos from that venue to see which filmmakers and vendors have worked there. They could watch videos from their state to try to find a filmmaker to hire for their wedding. If they're trying to decide between two florists, they could watch wedding videos that feature those two florists to try to see their work and get a sense of, how the flowers look. If you're looking for ideas for vows, anything you could ever think of, wedding videos are really the best way to research that. And any of the filmmakers or vendors or venues that are listed with the videos, you can contact them. So we have 13,000 videos on Love Stories TV, and we have about 30,000 businesses listed and about 50,000 tags for things that include businesses, but are also like winter weddings, Jewish weddings, Hindu weddings, gay weddings, rustic weddings, bohemian weddings, like anything you could ever want to watch. And then we have a lot of women who just watch the videos for fun. So they are a little bit younger, which is great for the wedding filmmakers and pros because they're kind of like attracting followers early. And they're just watching the videos because they're amazing and they're great entertainment. So that's what Love Stories TV is and how it works. And I spent several years before Love Stories TV at Birchbox, which is a beauty subscription service, and I ran the content team there. So that's where I really got into learning about the power of video for marketing, and really starting to think about, what types of video content help people make purchase decisions. And that's what led me to Love Stories TV.
Okay, so now I'm curious because before the rise of video, because everyone knows that, I don't know if everyone knows, but it's pretty obvious that social media is pretty much dominated by video by now.
Yeah. Yeah.
What attracted you to video? Because how old is Love Stories TV?
So Love Stories TV is 3 years old.
Okay.
We launched in the fall of 2016. Well, when I was at Birchbox, we were a beauty company. And so the best way to teach people how to use a beauty product was in a video. And beauty is really one of the industries where video took off the earliest, a little earlier than fashion, even earlier than the food videos and all the stuff you take for granted now. Women were doing makeup tutorials in their bedrooms from like the earliest days of YouTube. And so that's where we really saw the power that on our site, for example, at Birchbox, pages that had videos on them, those products would get purchased more frequently because people could see how to use them. People spent longer on the pages that had video. We saw right away. And the complicated thing about video is that it can be very expensive to produce. And so you're always trying to think about how you can source video in a non-expensive way. And so that's what really attracted me to the wedding videos, is that couples pay thousands of dollars to have these incredible pieces of content made. And then before Love Stories TV, filmmakers were just hosting them on Vimeo, and there's no audience on Vimeo. The regular consumer doesn't use Vimeo. And so I was like, this is such a waste. I mean, these filmmakers are making this incredible content. They give it to the couple, but then it just sort of languishes on Vimeo. And I was like, we need to get this content in front of more people. And that, I knew, like, for someone to pay to make a video that looks like this, they'd be spending so much money. A dress designer or a venue, they could never create a piece of marketing collateral that looks like that. So it was obvious to me there was a way that filmmakers could get their films in front of more potential couples by the venues and the dress designers and all those people, wanting to use the videos for marketing.
So do you base it off of numbers or subscribers? How do you see like the rise of video?
Yeah. Well, so between our site and our Snapchat Discover channel and our Instagram channel and our email, we reach about 10 million people a month. And so, we're global, right? So there's about 2.5 million weddings a year in the United States, but we have videos and weddings from all over the world. And like I said, we have a lot of younger women who are just watching the content because it's amazing. And then they start to follow those filmmakers on Instagram or save a picture of that venue. And then when it's time for them to get married, they remember those pros and those brands that they discovered through the real wedding videos on Love Stories.
Okay. Wow. Okay. In my mind, when you said 10 million, I'm like, you're such a nice person because the website is pretty much free. In my mind, I'm like, if I charge $1 per person.
Well, we don't want to charge. We do charge some people, but not the filmmakers, right? So the idea is, like, for the filmmakers, we're like, listen, why would you put your content on Vimeo? No one's going to see it. And even if you put it on your own website, the only people who are going to see it are the people who come to your website, which is why everyone's using Instagram and using Facebook and using YouTube. But there's power in aggregating similar types of content together. So people are like, oh, well, I know if I go to Love Stories, that's where I see the wedding videos. That's where I find the filmmakers. But so filmmakers, we just want you to host all your videos with us. And something I think people don't realize is that in addition to marketing, Love Stories TV is free for filmmakers, so you could stop paying Vimeo. You can literally upload all your videos to Love Stories TV. You can decide which ones you want to be public or private, and then you can embed our player on your website, so you really don't need to pay for Vimeo anymore. And you can send those links to your clients, etc. The people who pay us are the other types of wedding brands and pros. So a florist might buy a subscription with Love Stories TV to have the wedding videos that feature their flowers reach more people. And so in addition to the filmmaker being credited, the florist is credited too. Or we work with big dress designers who want people to watch the wedding videos of brides wearing their dresses because it's like a commercial for their dresses. And then it also benefits those filmmakers because the dress designer is paying for more people to watch your videos and see your name. So it's really a win-win for everybody.
Wow. Okay. My gosh, that's so smart. Okay. Now I want to ask, is there, if I am not a wedding filmmaker and
Yeah,
I wanna upload videos on Love Stories TV, I can, right?
not today. Today it's
Okay.
only the couple or the filmmaker because we want to make sure,
Very
you
good.
know, filmmakers, if you're listening to this, you're a filmmaker. So you know that you own the video and the only other person that has any rights to it is the newlywed. So even though a florist probably would never have the video file. They might have like the Vimeo link, but actually, in order to be on Love Stories TV, you have to upload the file anyway. So they don't usually have the file. But if a venue comes to us and says, oh, we want to work with you more closely and we have all these great videos from our venue, we'll say, okay, here's an email template. Send this to all the filmmakers who have shot at your venue, or send this to all of your brides and encourage them to do the
Oh
uploading.
my gosh, you're so smart. Okay. you're you're pretty much just solving a problem right now. That's great.
We think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
we think.
So, is there a limit to the number of videos that a filmmaker can upload on Love Stories TV?
No, we want your whole library. And the more videos you upload, not only will you just naturally be discovered by more brides, but we also work with filmmakers and we're like, listen, if you upload this many videos, we promise we'll do this many features about you on Facebook. Or if you upload this many videos, because we really want to encourage people to upload all their videos because that's where you get the benefit. So if you sometimes filmmakers are like, well, I only want to upload my 5 favorites. And I'm like, that's okay. But then you're only going to get discovered if a bride happens to search for those 5 venues or those 5 planners or, whatever. Or, she happens to be looking in the place where you're based. But if you upload your whole library, which might be 50 videos, then you're going to get discovered on 50 different venue pages, 50 different flower pages. You have more chances to get discovered when she searches for a filmmaker in Tennessee or a filmmaker in Michigan. It's just the more videos with the more data you have, the more searches you might appear in, basically.
Okay. So, I you said you
But
had,
let me say one more thing.
yeah.
But so I don't want to deter people. If you're just getting started and you only have 5 videos, that doesn't mean you won't get featured because we feature people all the time who have one video on the site. Like our editorial team is constantly just watching as many videos as possible. And if we love something, we'll feature it. It doesn't matter how many videos you have. It's not like required. It's just if you do have a lot of videos, if you have been doing this for a while, it's in your best interest to upload them all. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. You have to warn your tech guy because I'm gonna upload a bunch of videos next week.
Yay! Amazing.
So, is
Amazing.
there an option for me to upload a video but put it on private?
Yeah. They all default to private.
Okay,
So what
that's good.
happens is you upload your videos, they default to private, and they only become public when you add the details. Because for us to have public videos that don't have any details, it doesn't really benefit the bride because she really wants to know where did it happen and who else worked on the wedding and who was the filmmaker and all that stuff. So they all default to private, and then you go in and you can tag the other vendors, tag the location, tag the style, and then that makes it public.
Okay. I'm wondering now, for example, a wedding planner hired someone to film. For example, there's no videographer for that wedding, right? And
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
photographer just hired someone, or the wedding planner just hired someone to film snippets of her working, but at the same time showing what the wedding looks like before and after. Would she be able to upload videos? Or just filmmakers?
Literally, the only user types on the site that can upload are newlyweds and filmmakers
Okay.
today. We have a little bit of a beta test going with some photographers, but they can only add photos to a wedding where there's already a video.
Okay. Sounds good.
So, and we're sort of building that out slowly because we do think, there's benefit to photos. Like there's certain things that only video can show, like the vows and the speeches and the way that the dress moves and the first look. But like if you're researching a cake, I can see how a photograph of the cake is really helpful. So I think we will continue to sort of slowly build out that beta test where certain photographers will invite them to add photos to weddings that are already on the site through video.
Okay. So I'm I'm trying to think now if you have any observation when you started in 2016 with the
Hmm.
3 years that you've had Love Stories TV. What was the I guess with the wedding films, what how big has it become?
Yeah, well, so when we let's see, when we first started, it was about 30% of couples were hiring a filmmaker. And now we've seen that stat get closer to between 35 and 40%. So it's still not 100% of couples, but it is slowly growing. Zola, who's a big, they do the wedding registries and the wedding websites. They actually did a big survey last year, and the number one regret of couples that they surveyed, of the hundreds of thousands of people they surveyed, was either not hiring a videographer or not spending more money on a videographer. That was the number one regret. And we hear that anecdotally all the time.
Oh
People
yeah.
really regret it if they don't hire a filmmaker. I think the biggest thing is that you're just seeing the quality and the creativity and the artistry just, improve all the time. It's amazing. I mean, I talk about it to people who aren't in the industry, and it's just like, this is the only category of content in the whole world where professional filmmakers are creating videos about regular people. It's very special. It doesn't exist anywhere else. And when you're in a wedding video, you really don't look like a regular person. You look like a celebrity. Your hair's done, your makeup's done, you're so happy and you're in this beautiful dress. And it's really unique. And I just am really impressed with the creativity. It used to be like every wedding video kind of was like a cookie cutter, like it went in chronological order and they sort of hit these certain things. And now people are experimenting with, you know, cold opens and things not being in chronological order and different, um, color grades and splicing in like external content and interviewing the couples before the wedding. There's so many creative things happening now. I love watching the industry evolve.
I you just said the cold open and I'm like, "Oh, here we go." So cuz the thing is I just watched your talk for B&H the
Yeah,
in-depth what was it like
depth of field.
depth
Yeah,
of field. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
I was ranting
it
about that.
it was great. Like when you
Oh,
said,
thank you. That's so nice.
that cold open is so important when it comes
I think,
to
yeah.
yeah. So do you mind talking about that a little bit more for the videographers who are listening?
Yeah, of course. So I think the thing is, the way I describe to people is like, listen, the couple who hired you is going to love their video no matter what. Like unless they're really, really difficult, like it's their wedding and they love your work. That's why they hired you. They're going to love it. But just creating the film just for them it's like you're not getting all the bang for your buck. You know what I mean? Like make a video that the couple's going to love, but other people will love too. And that's how you get the most out of Instagram. You get the most out of Facebook. You get the most out of YouTube. You get the most out of Love Stories TV. So, for example, a cold open is something I always encourage people to do, which it means don't start the video with a drone shot zooming into the ceremony venue and a sign of the venue. Like that's really boring to everyone except the bride. Start with like the best moment in the wedding. Start with the groom seeing the bride for the first time and watching his face and watching him cry. Suck people in, and then you can go in chronological order if you want or not. I mean, everyone's style is different, but if you want people to watch that video on Instagram or watch that video on Facebook or watch that video on the site, you have a millisecond to get their attention. And a drone shot of Cleveland, Ohio, which I can say because I'm from Detroit, Michigan, is not going to get anyone's attention. You know what I mean? Nobody cares about the outside of the Marriott. They care about what happened in the hallway of the Marriott where the groom saw the bride for the first time.
I always tell people I never call myself filmmaker because I believe that my job is to capture those moments first and turn it into a
Yeah.
film if I can,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So just making sure that you capture those moments is what's going to help your video pull the right heartstrings to attract
Right.
other because whenever we here in Buffalo Video in our company we always just never try to do anything super crazy because I know I know in my heart we can't do that consistently. So we always
Yeah.
focus on the moments and the memories that we
Yeah.
capture. And it's funny because whenever we have people who walk in here, like new couples, they always say, "Oh my gosh, we watched those videos on your Vimeo page," and we're like, we're crying, and we don't even know who these
Yeah.
people are. So yeah.
Exactly.
So having that cold open means that you're focusing on the moment, and I love that. I
Yeah.
love that you. So my next question is, for people who aren't filming weddings, but
Hmm.
they're in the wedding industry, since there
Yeah.
is a rise in there's a rise in video for marketing for your wedding.
Yeah.
What kind of cold open should other wedding vendors do if ever they want to get into more into like the video aspect of their social media?
Well, I don't think vendors should get into video. I think they should use your video. And that's how we started Love Stories TV. I mean, if you're a venue, why would you hire someone to take a video of your venue? Have a video every weekend. Like the wedding films are the video. And so we've built out tools at Love Stories TV, for example. All the vendors um, with channels on Love Stories TV, which is any vendor that's ever been tagged, they can get a little snippet of HTML code and instantly embed all the videos that tag them on their own website, which is great for you, the filmmaker, because then it means that someone goes to that venue's website to research the venue and they're watching your videos to research the venue. And when we have venues who are paid customers of ours, who are marketplace customers of ours, we help them. We publish the videos on Facebook and then give them cross-posting access, or we teach them how to regram. They are so lucky that there are these amazing marketing assets that have already been created that feature their products and services, and they should be leveraging them, and that's what we help them do, which
Okay.
benefits you because then more qualified customers are watching your videos.
My gosh, that's such a good answer. I love it.
Thank
Okay,
you.
I have a lot of questions about that, but you pretty much answered all of it, so I'm skipping that part because see, I'm writing notes. um, so when it comes to how important do you think it is for I feel like I want to talk to the other wedding vendors whenever they're
Yeah.
trying to trying to help their couples out, because
Yeah.
there's still a lot of couples that we talk to that say, oh, we don't really have the budget for the video, or we really don't think we need the video. How do you think the wedding vendors should market the video? Because I'm gonna ask you about the videographers later, like how we're gonna
Yeah.
market it. But for wedding vendors, how do you push without being like too salesy?
I mean, the truth is like what I said before, like this survey with Zola, people regret it. I mean, I regret it. So a little bit more about my story is I got married in 2013, and I had very little to do with my own wedding. I hadn't been to the venue till the day before. My mother had picked out the venue. My mother hired all the vendors. I had not a lot to do with my own wedding. And she asked me, "Do you want a videographer?" So this was already 6 years ago, five, 5 or 6 years ago. I was 29, and I sort of remembered wedding videos to be quite different than they are today. And I was like, "No, like save your money. Like they're kind of cheesy. Like we don't need it." And she was like, "Okay, great." And then at my wedding, my family did like the most amazing surprise flash mob you've ever seen. Like it was the best moment of my life. And, everyone gave amazing speeches and the ceremony was so beautiful. And I woke up the next day and it's like a blur. And I remember saying to my mom, like, "Ugh, even if wedding videos are cheesy, like we just should have had one. Like it's such a shame we don't have a video." And I sort of was feeling regretful about that. And then I worked at Birchbox, which is like mostly women, and I had been in a sorority in college, and I have tons of female friends. And so I sort of started paying closer attention when I would see people's wedding videos on Facebook, and I was like, these aren't cheesy at all. Like, this isn't what I remember. Like, these look like feature films. Like, these are amazing. And it really clicked for me, like, the regret you feel not to have any video footage and the fact that I just didn't realize how amazing these films were. And as someone who worked in video, I was like, man, people think it's expensive to spend $2,500, $5,000, $10,000 on a video like this. But like at Birchbox, if we want to make a video like that, it would cost us $100,000. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a pretty underpriced asset, to be honest with you. Wedding filmmakers should be charging a lot more, which we can talk about later. But so anyway, I just think that like if you're a wedding planner or you're a venue and you're not encouraging your couple to get a video, like you're really doing them a disservice because you know they're going to regret it.
I remember talking to a venue coordinator before. We were just like casually talking about, just the industry and, photo and video, how important they are. And
Hmm.
I told them, the duty of someone who's not photo and video to recommend the really good vendors
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you could always recommend like the newer people, but when it comes to a venue who's trying to get into the market a little bit more, or an old venue who's trying to get a little bit more hip, people who have more experience and are more professional, when you recommend them to couples, it gives your service justice. So, because like for caterers or florists or venues, you put this amazing wedding together, right? It's just magnificent and magical. And once the couple sees their photos and video, and it doesn't really like show anything and translate well, you're kind of like doing yourself a disservice as well, right?
Yeah. Totally. Right. I mean, it's like one, you should tell your couples to have a video because it's the right thing to do because they're going to regret it. And two, if your couple has a video, that's free marketing for you. I mean, it's no brainer.
Especially if it's a really beautiful video.
Exactly.
So, okay, now I want to ask you, is there any advice, because most of my listeners are starting out, or at
Yeah.
least like, thinking about getting into wedding
Hmm.
videography. What advice could you give them
Yeah.
to be able to get into the market and stand out in Love Stories TV? Like because you said there's like
Yeah.
30,000. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. I think the number one thing obviously is like do a good job for your clients. Like I run a website, but we all know word of mouth from real friends and real family is how the best way to build a business. Okay. So just do a good job for your clients, get them the video fast, get them a 1 minute Instagram edit the next day, especially if you're getting started. Like just, hustle to give people great service quickly. You know what I mean? Brides are so excited in their videos. So that's the first thing. The second thing I think is when you're making that Instagram trailer, thinking about the stuff that we were talking about before with like the cold open, and just remember other people are going to see this. You know what I mean? And so the bride's going to love it either way. But if you can make it something that will be attractive to other people, you're getting more bang for your buck. I think the third thing, and this applies to Love Stories TV and also other social media, is making sure you know everyone else who worked on the wedding. So here's how you stand out on Love Stories. There's two ways. One is adding as much data as possible. So if you tag the florist, you tag the caterer, you tag the venue, you send the bride a form ahead of time asking her, what dress are you wearing? What shoes are you wearing? Who made the tuxedo? All that stuff, the DJ, the band, the cake. When you tag those on Love Stories, that means if someone's researching that cake caterer, they're going to find your video. Someone's researching that venue, they're going to find your video. So it's just like Google, it's just like SEO optimization. The more data and information you have, the more likely you are to get discovered in a search engine. But the same thing when you post that video on your own Instagram, tag everybody in it. Tag the florist so she'll come back and like your post and comment on it. Like it's so easy. Like no one else in other small businesses have this type of content like you have. You know what I mean? Do the work, send an intake form to your couples and get all the information. We have an intake form that we provide filmmakers. We can link to it or figure out a way to get it to you listeners. Send it to your bride and be like, I want to know all the other vendors working on the wedding. One, so that I can be effective on the day of the wedding. And two, so that I can list them on my website and on Love Stories TV, to credit these people. So that's like just general like marketing advice. And I think the other thing about Love Stories TV that people don't realize is if you upload 20 videos tomorrow or 2 videos tomorrow, and you think one of them is awesome, like the groom really cries when he sees the bride, or there's like a puppy in it, or like the dad gives like an exceptional speech, email videos at Love Stories TV and tell us, and we'll flag it to the editorial team. You know what I mean? Like, we're looking for great videos to feature. We need your help. We need you to tell us when you've uploaded something you know is like above and beyond amazing.
Okay. Oh wow, that's great advice. So I don't know if we already talked about it, but I really want to get into how do we market our service? Because I guess my question is, like for me, I'm going past the average age of people who are getting married, right?
Hmm.
How do I market to them? Is there like a way that I can market to them without being too salesy? Are there like steps that I have to take? But before you even think about what your answer is, I'd love to quickly thank our friends from Honeybook. Honeybook is a CRM, which stands for Customer Relationship Management System, and that software helps us manage and organize our customers' data. Clients always comment on how fast we respond to their inquiries. Since Honeybook is one of the only small business CRMs that has an app, we get an alert every time someone fills out our contact form, and then we are able to send them a brochure right away. It all boils down to the customer experience. The more you make it easy for them, the more comfortable they will be in handing you their money. By eliminating that part of your business, you get to have your life back. And your clients will get the experience that they deserve. Win-win. So if you use my referral link, you'll get 50% off on your first year. That's not all. I really want you to succeed, so once you become a member through us, you'll be getting a 30-minute phone call to answer your questions about anything, your business or Honeybook. Just click on the links in the show notes. I'm so sorry. What was your answer to my question?
I think that, you know, yeah, I think what the word steps is right. And it's almost having like a checklist in your mind. So it's like, okay, first of all, at the wedding itself, like, look professional, look the part, make a good impression, okay? Because people are going to come talk to you. They're going to say, oh, my sister's getting married next week. She's looking for hopefully not next week, next year. She's looking for a filmmaker. Bring your business cards with you, like dress nice, like kind of make a good impression at the wedding itself. Then I think get the bride and groom that 1-minute Instagram edit vertical, cut it vertical. I know you don't want to. I know you think it's harder. A horizontal thing on Instagram, nobody can see it. It's not worth your time. You just wasted 8 hours or 6 hours or hopefully only 3 hours, whatever. Cut it vertical. If you need help, reach out to us. Our friends at Archaeus made like an amazing template and tutorial. We'll send it to you. Okay, so get them like that 1-minute Instagram cut like the next day or 2 days later. Send it to them right away. Ask them, remind them to tag you when they put it on their Instagram. And then put it on your own Instagram and tag all the vendors. And now you have 10, 11 people who are tagged and who are going to come back and comment and share. And the bride's going to be like, oh my God, my wedding was the best day ever. And like, we're obsessed with Bafo Video. They just sent us this trailer. The sooner you do it to the wedding, the more excited she is. And then like, don't take 6 months to get her video back. Get her video in a month, or get her video in 2 weeks, or whatever you can do. You know what I mean? There's like great services that can help you with editing if you need to. And the faster you get it to her, the more excited she still is about her wedding. And make it really easy for her when you send it to her. Be like, hey, can you share this on Love Stories TV and talk about how much you liked working with us, and tag all the vendors? Like, that's the thing I always tell filmmakers actually about Love Stories is like, you can upload all your own videos for sure and use us for hosting and storage, but like brides can do it too. If you like are really busy, just ask your brides to do it. They can upload the video also, and they know, listen, they know every dress, every bridesmaid wore, and every shoe, and they're gonna, even do a better job with the data than you are. So I think like just being personable and friendly. The other thing I always tell people to do, and actually, we were doing another podcast with Taylor from Ladybird Studios who gave this advice, which I thought was great. Email that video to all those vendors. Like, remember that intake form I told you to get? Email all the vendors and be like, hey, here's the video from Rachel and Justin's wedding. I hope you guys like it. I'm going to tag you when I post it on Instagram so you can regram it for my Instagram. But if you want to use this anywhere, here it is. I mean, that's amazing for them. You know what I mean? I think just like thinking about all the little things that you can do. And then like post on Love Stories TV, post on Facebook, post on Instagram. I mean, listen, you should also use Wedding Wire. Like that's how people will find you. I mean, you don't necessarily have to use a paid account if you don't want to, but put yourself out there, put yourself everywhere. That's how you start to build your business.
My gosh, this is great. Okay, so so because now I'm realizing. So I interviewed Kelly Dabb before, and she talks about symbiotic marketing, and what it is
Hmm.
kind of like putting the not really trapping the couples into this web of just marketing yourself the whole time. But
Yeah,
what I used to do is I do like a vertical Instagram TV video, right? And then right now with Instagram TV, IGTV, it shows like a preview on Instagram. And then if you want to keep watching, you just press and it goes to the
hmm,
Instagram IGTV. I have a link to IGTV that says, "Do you want to watch the horizontal video?" And it goes straight to our Facebook. And when it's on Facebook, now that I'm listening to you, now when it's on our Facebook, I could say that, "Do you want to see more videos?" I could link it to our Love Stories TV page.
exactly.
That's
That's exactly
amazing.
right. Yep,
Now, and
that's
then when
exactly
it
right.
gets
Make it
to,
easy for people to contact you, make it easy for people to find you, make it easy for the other vendors to tag you. And listen, it's hard. Like it's harder to crop it vertical. It's harder to look up all the Instagram handles of the vendors if you don't have them. It's one more step to email the bride and be like, "Can you fill out this form so I can get all the other vendors' info?" Like, I'm not saying it's not, but that's how you grow your business.
it's gonna take work. That's the
Yep.
thing. You can't, you know. So when if a bride uploads my video, am I going to see that in my channel, or is it?
Yes. Yeah, it lives on your
Ah,
channel and you get an email right away that says, "Hey, your bride Rachel just uploaded her video. It's on your channel. Um, we hope you'll upload more." Yeah.
that's cool. Okay, now I want to ask you, because most of us who are in the wedding industry are part of communities, right? I am part of a community of people in my area that I always work with. It's just filled with like coordinators and photographers. I want to ask you, for a filmmaker, what what community should I focus on when it
Mm,
comes to marketing my stuff, and
yeah.
how can I build one for myself?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
great question. I think there's two really obvious ones and one less obvious one. So the really obvious ones are photographers and planners. So let's be honest, it's still a high budget bride that hires a planner. Most people don't hire a wedding planner. Like that's 10% of your wedding budget and most people can't afford it. But if you have a wedding planner, you're likely to be able to not think that a videographer is too expensive or something extra. And the planner is going to know that you want that video. So like ingratiating yourself with planners is really smart. So, just go on Love Stories TV, find all the planners in your area, email them, be like, "Hey, I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm a wedding filmmaker in the area. Here's a link to all my videos. Like, if you have any brides looking for videos, I'd love you to recommend me. And like, I'd be happy to give all of your brides, a 5% discount if they mention you or something like that." I think doing the same thing to photographers. What we see, so filmmakers and newlyweds can upload videos to Love Story TV, but most get uploaded by filmmakers. And the most common other vendor that they tag are photographers, because the photographers and the videographers always know each other. And like, I know it's sort of a bummer reality if you're a videographer, but 100% of people hire a photographer. So if you can get photographers recommending you, that's really good. So just like reach out to photographers that are in your area, introduce yourself, send a link to your website or your Love Stories TV page. Again, say that you'll give their customers a little bit of a discount, whatever. And like, um, try to establish relationships with those people. I think the other one that's like a really underestimated place to get coverage is dress designers. So if you send that intake form to your brides and you find out who they're wearing and then you post that video, DM it to that dress designer's Instagram. Be like, hey, I just posted Rachel's wedding video and she's wearing I'm Sally and I thought you just might like to have this video for your Instagram. Like, we will do that on your behalf if I'm Sally is a customer of ours, but it's something y'all should be doing anyway because they
Okay.
have big Instagrams. So that's why.
My gosh, you're just solving everyone's problem right now. This is great. The thing is, I never knew that you do that. I just thought that Love Stories TV is a database for couples to see, get inspiration. But I never knew that you there's just so much work involved, and you go the extra mile for these. So this is just so great. So now you're talking about earlier you said that brides who hire wedding planners have like a bigger budget than brides who don't, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like uh, people in the wedding industry need to realize and acknowledge that weddings are a luxury. Like, people don't really have to have wedding video or a fancy venue. So as soon as they decide that they're gonna get married and they're gonna get married in this place, and I want a planner and I want a photographer, I want a videographer, um, we have to acknowledge, we have to know that this is a luxury, and with luxury, we have to price accordingly. And you said earlier you
Yeah.
want to talk about pricing, so this is my segue for us to talk
Yeah.
about
Well,
pricing.
I mean, listen, filmmakers get paid about 2/3 what photographers get paid, and they're working the same amount of hours on the day, and they spend more hours. They're actually getting paid less per hour in total than photographers. Um, and it's just because 100% of people hire a photographer for their wedding, and they have for a long time because photo's older. It's just like more established, and like that's all it is. But and I think, listen, it's one thing when you're just getting started. Like, when you're just getting started, you got to hustle. You know what I mean? You undercharge for your services. You do all of this online marketing stuff that I'm talking about, and every year you charge a little more and a little more, and you can do a little bit less weddings and a little bit less weddings. Like, that's how it works. But the thing I say to couples all the time, we have a podcast where we talk to brides and they complain about this or that, and it's like, I'm like, you don't have to have this wedding. No one's making you. Like, you're lucky. How lucky are you? You met someone you love, you want to spend the rest of your life with. That's the most important thing. And you have a little bit of extra money that you can throw an amazing party. Like, you really don't have anything to complain about. You're lucky. And these vendors are not trying to rip you off. Like, they're making a living. They're charging you what it costs to create this video or create those photos or create those flowers. And if you can't afford every single thing you want for your wedding, you can't afford every single thing you want, but people aren't overcharging you. But it's this thing where, like, you're buying something you've never bought before. So on the flip side, you have to understand why they're confused. You know what I mean? Like, they've never bought a video before. They don't know how much a video costs. How would they know that? You know what I mean? So I think it's like being patient and helping people understand, will benefit you and help you grow your business over time.
Okay. My gosh, this is so good. I'm
Oh,
so
thank
happy.
you.
Okay. So we've talked about community. Like, actually, I want to ask you how you built your community, because I'm sure it didn't happen overnight. Like, how when you started, like, how did you build this huge community of people just going to your website?
Yeah. Well, something I didn't really realize when we started is how left out of the ecosystem filmmakers were. So I saw these videos. I was like, it's really crazy that The Knot and Wedding Wire and Martha Stewart and Brides, and no one's like doing anything with these videos. Like, that's nuts. We should create a place just for video. And I started talking to filmmakers, obviously, and just interviewing filmmakers and trying to learn about the space. And they would tell me, like, yeah, a wedding I worked on got featured on Style Me Pretty, but they don't put the video there. Or, a wedding I worked on got featured on Martha Stewart, but they like don't put the video. Or the types of weddings I do aren't brides' weddings, or they're not. And oh, sorry, one second, my microphone went out.
Oh, you're good.
Can you hear me?
Yes. You got cut
Okay, sorry
off
about that.
at the you got cut off after you said it's in Style Me Pretty doesn't feature the video.
Y- Yeah, exactly. And so we were like, okay. And so they were like, we feel really left out of the ecosystem. Like no one features videos. So first of all, just by being even before we had a big audience, just by being 100% focused on videos, filmmakers loved what we were doing. They're like, well, we just want to support you just because you're supporting us, you know? And when you can tap into a niche community of people who are passionate about something and they're underserved, that's when, things grow. And so filmmakers were attracted to us just by the principle of what our business was doing. And then we started growing our audience because people want to watch these videos on Facebook and people want to watch them on Instagram and they want to watch them on YouTube. And then we have a partnership with Snapchat where we have a Discover channel, which there's, only certain publishers have Discover channels. And so that really like scaled our business in an incredible way and allowed us to go from reaching like 2 million to like 10 million people, every month. And now all these people all over the world know about Love Stories TV and like know about our site. But I think it really started with just like learning that the filmmakers needed this thing they didn't have, and really supporting them and believing in them. So,
Okay.
and then we started doing things like the Wedding Film Awards, which only focus on wedding films. And just, this year we went to a lot of like wedding filmmaker conferences, and we're always just trying to get to know people in person and really learn about your business and what we can do to improve it.
Okay. Do you have any advice? I don't know if you already have people from outside of the US, like especially in the Asian market. Do you have any videographers there? What advice can you
Yeah,
give
yes,
them?
30% of our videographers are from outside the United States.
Okay. And so what advice can you give I don't know how many brides from outside the US visit your site, but what advice can you give to the non-American filmmakers?
Yeah, well, we have audience from we have videos from hundred what I don't know the number. I'd have over 100 countries,
Okay.
and we have audience from all over the world. India is a big audience for us. Australia is a big audience for us. Canada is a big audience for us, obviously. Um, so really, the advice is the same. It's like the data is the most important thing. You could have the most beautiful video in the world, but if you have it on Love Stories TV and you don't say where the venue, where it happened, or the type of wedding that it was, or anyone else that worked on the wedding, it's less likely to get discovered. It doesn't mean it can't get discovered, because if you're a filmmaker working in Paris and someone's just looking for filmmakers in Paris, they're going to find you even if you don't say anything but Paris, for sure. But, if they're researching a particular dress designer or a particular planner and you've tagged them, like that's another way to get discovered. So that's why the data is really important. And the second piece, like I said, is just emailing us and reaching out to us when you have a video that's incredible, because we want to put it on our YouTube and we want to put it on our Instagram. But we, get so many videos submitted every day. We don't always get to watch every single one, or we don't watch every single one right away. So like working with us and pitching us is really helpful. And like I said, that email address is just videos@lovestoriestv.com. But I think the thing with international, it's interesting. It's like people don't always get married where they live, so Americans get married abroad. People who don't live in the US get married in the US. Filmmakers are flying all over the world to film weddings. And we always tell couples, we're like, if there's a filmmaker that you really love and they're not based where you're getting married, it's still worth reaching out, because you don't know, maybe they have another wedding later that month in that location and they want to do a trip out there, or they're looking to build their portfolio in a certain city. Like, it's worth a try.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay. Um I my last question is what how am I going to ask this? How will a filmmaker market himself? What advice can you give to wedding filmmakers to market themselves without showing off their work? Are there other ways that wedding filmmakers, or wedding vendors in particular, since we're talking about video and this is our specialty, do you have any advice for people to market themselves without showing the wedding video?
Yeah, well, one thing is every weekend someone new takes over our Instagram and our Snapchat from a real wedding that they're attending. And something we hear from brides all the time is like, we can see the DMs, like what people are DMing about a particular takeover, and they're like, that person seems really cool and fun. I would love to have them at my wedding, which just shows you it's not just about the final product. It's like people want someone who they're comfortable around. So that's like I was saying, like when you go to work a wedding, like dress nicely and like say hi to people and like have your business card and like be friendly and fun. Don't like drink and party, you're not a guest, but like like talk to people and like be friendly with the bridesmaids and friendly with the groomsmen, because they're all going to get married too, and like reach out to us and do a takeover, stuff like that. And then people are like, oh, like Paul seems really fun. I'm watching him interact with these people at this wedding he's at. Like I'm going to go check out his work and like see if I should hire him. So I think it's like a really good question to ask. It's a mix of like the final product and just like how you present yourself in person and on social media. And we love giving filmmakers the opportunity to do that. So if you're listening to this, definitely reach out to us about doing a takeover. And the email address for all this stuff is just videos@lovestoriestv.com.
Okay, so you're saying that people want to be involved in the process as well.
Yeah,
That's pretty
exactly.
much it.
That's right.
I usually dress better and my hair's usually better, but
I think
because
you
I
look
thought
great.
Thank you. I thought we were doing audio only, and then I see, oh my gosh,
I'm
she's
sorry.
ready. So
No. And
I'm
I don't
actually
think people need to be, listen, it's like you're a filmmaker at a wedding, like you got to wear sneakers. I mean, you can't, like, I get it, but it's just like, present yourself in a way that makes people want to have you at their wedding.
yeah, I have these Cole Haans that are ground zero, and
Everyone
they're
says the Cole Haans are like the best
beautiful
wedding
to look
filmmaker shoe.
at, and it's like
Yeah.
wearing a sneaker, and it's just great. Like, oh my gosh, grand entrance is happening now, and then we just run for it, and we're okay.
Yeah.
We never slip, we
Yeah.
never fall. It's perfect.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else that you want to say before we finish the interview? Because you've given us so much information right now. I can't believe,
Thank
you know.
you. Well, listen, if you're listening to this and you have any questions at all about how to use love stories or something's confusing you, please email us videos@lovestoriestv.com. Don't forget what I said. If you have made one video ever, we want it on the site. And it doesn't mean you won't get featured, and it doesn't mean you won't get discovered. You could add 17 different data points to that one video, and that's 17 different ways you might get noticed. But if you have 100 videos and you're paying to host them on Vimeo, you can host them with us for free. So no matter where you are sort of in the spectrum, we have something for you. We want to help you grow your business. So you can just go to lovestoriestv.com today and start uploading your videos. Or if you have questions and want to learn more, please reach out to us. You should definitely follow us on Instagram. It's a great way to learn more about our service and what we do and see the kind of stuff we feature. We're also on YouTube and Facebook and Snapchat. And, we have a great email newsletter for filmmakers. So keep up with us. And if there's any questions you have, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you. So Love Stories TV has changed the industry, and you have helped elevate the way filmmakers present their wedding videos to the couples.
Thank
And
you.
I really, really want to thank you for that, and thank you for pressuring us to make our videos better every time.
Well, I'm nothing if not honest, but thank you for saying that, and thank you for being like such a big supporter since the beginning. We appreciate it so much, and I hope that I get to meet and hear from some of your listeners. That would be amazing. So thanks everyone for tuning in today.
Thank you so much. All the best to you. That's the end of another great episode. I hope you picked something up from our guest. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out by emailing me at weddingbossness@gmail.com. I know there's so much information that was provided today, so be sure to check out the show notes for the links down below. Special thanks to our guest for today, and don't forget to visit their site after this episode. Thanks for listening. Until we meet again.